Trump signs an order undoing Obama climate change policies. What are the key elements of Paris Climate Accord? What is Mr. Trump's order changing? Will the US honor its commitments under the Paris Climate Deal? GS Paper 3, Environment and Ecology, Conservation. What is the context about? President Donald Trump has signed an executive order, rolling back Obama-era rules aimed at curbing climate change. The president said this would put an end to the war on coal and job-killing regulations. The Energy Independence Executive Order suspends more than half a dozen measures enacted by his predecessor, and boosts fossil fuels. Business groups have praised the Trump administration's move, but environmental campaigners have condemned it. During the campaign, he vowed to pull the US out of the Paris climate deal agreed in December 2015. What are the key elements of Paris Climate Accord? To keep global temperatures well below 2 degrees Celsius, 3.6 F, above pre-industrial times, and endeavor to limit them even more, to 1.5 degrees Celsius. To limit the amount of greenhouse gases emitted by human activity to the same levels that trees, soil and oceans can absorb naturally, beginning at some point between 2050 and 2100. To review each country's contribution to cutting emissions every 5 years so they scale up to the challenge. For rich countries to help poorer nations by providing climate finance to adapt to climate change and switch to renewable energy. What is Mr. Trump's order changing? President Trump takes a very different approach to the environment from Mr. Obama. The former president argued that climate change was real and cannot be ignored. The Trump administration says that scrapping the plan will put people to work and reduce America's reliance on imported fuel. It says the president will be moving forward on energy production in the US. During the president's maiden visit to the Environmental Protection Agency, he signed the Energy Independence Executive Order, which cut CPA regulations in order to support Mr. Trump's plan of cutting the agency's budget by a third. Will the US honor its commitments under the Paris Climate Deal? While campaigning for the presidency, Mr. Trump argued that the agreement was unfair to the US. The landmark agreement commits governments to moving their economies away from fossil fuels and reducing carbon emissions to try to contain global temperature rise. Mr. Trump has in the past said climate change had been created by and for the Chinese. It is now unclear where exactly the US stands in relation to the deal. Whatever the US chooses, the EU, India and China say they will stick to their pledges made in Paris.